Hello all, welcome to Consumer Behavior in the spring semester 2020, Texas Women's University. I am Professor Jeff Radigueri and I will be your instructor for this course. In this recording, I'm just going to go through the syllabus and Canvas, and that's pretty much it. This is more of an administrative presentation than anything else, so make sure that you go through this and you take notes, and you may want to bookmark it, so you probably may need to come back to it to refer to the information again and again. So I want to start out with talking about the syllabus. The syllabus is pretty straightforward. This is an online course. I have office hours both in Denton and online. Office hours are Tuesday, Thursday between 11 a.m. and 12:30. And my office is in the CFO building, room 401. My phone number is listed there. It's 940-898-2245. If you call me during office hours, I will be sure to answer the phone. If it's not office hours, I may not be there, and it may be a while before I respond. Email address is just first initial, last name at TWU. I have a graduate assistant who will be grading most of the assignments, and her email is khaines8@twu.edu. So if things come up, questions regarding your grades, when is something going to be graded, or potentially I think this was graded wrong, can you reconsider? Contact her, because she's the one that's doing the grading, and so she's the one that will be regrading, answering those questions. So just start with her. If you email me regarding grades, I'm just going to refer you to her. Okay? Alright, the only course material that you need is the book. The book is CB8 by Babin and Harris. It is listed in the TWU bookstore. It's on the shelf there. It's also online. You don't have to get it from the bookstore. If you want to get it from another resource, find a used copy, find a cheaper copy, you can do so. In fact, I encourage you to shop around and get a better deal. And that's kind of the essence of the business world, is you do have choices, and you should capitalize upon those choices. A lot of the versions of the book come with some sort of connect or some sort of CourseMate access. You do not need that at all. You do not need CourseMate. So feel free to find a used print copy if you want. If you buy the digital copy, I think it automatically comes with it. You can't buy one without the other if you go with the digital version or the ebook version. But again, you can buy a used print copy without it, probably for fairly cheap. Okay, read through the syllabus. There's a bunch of statements we have to put in there regarding disabilities, Title IX, cheating, things like that. So make sure you read through that. It's good information to have. Okay, here's how you'll be evaluated in this course. So there are 3 exams, each worth 100 points. Each will be 10 open-ended questions, and they will come from textbook material and things we discuss online in the course. There's no any other resources that will be required of this course that would be covered on the exams. Okay, we have 10 discussion boards, each worth 5 points each. Those are a bit unique. I'll talk about them again here in just a minute. 2 current issues papers. You're going to be writing 2 papers that address current things going on in marketing related to consumers and consumer behavior. So it will give you the ability to be well versed in some contemporary issues, because it's good to stay current with what's going on. Okay. Then you have a group project. The group project, in essence, is a final presentation you're going to create on YouTube. However, there are a couple intermediate steps to that are little bitty papers to kind of get you going, gets the ball rolling, and allows me to do a check on participation in groups. Okay, so I'll talk about those again here in just a minute as well. The grades in this course are assigned based on the traditional A, B, C, D, F, with a 90% and above being an A, in the 80s is a B, and so on and so on. Do know that the grade you receive is the grade that you earned. I don't curve grades unless there's a overall class-wide reason to do so. I don't change grades just because you're not happy or because your GPA is going to be hurt or anything like that. Okay, so please don't even ask those sorts of questions. So it's your the ball's in your court to work as hard as you can and do as well as you can to make the best grade you can. But again, at the end of the day, the grade you get is the grade that you earned. Okay. All right, a little more about the assignments. Again, I mentioned the exams already. The discussion boards. The discussion boards are a little bit involved, but it's all about relevance and creating interactivity within the classroom. Okay, so each week in which there is a discussion board assigned, you have 3 different things you're required to do. Okay? Well, more than 3 things, but you have to make 3 posts each week. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is you have to find an article that is less than 2 months old that is relevant to some concept in that week's assigned chapters. Okay? So basically you find an article, you read through the article, and then you make a post where you list the name, publication, date of the article, a link, 100-word summary of the article, as well as a 300-word analysis of how it applies to the week's chapters. Each week, a discussion board is assigned. This component, this kind of intro post, is due by Wednesday midnight. Okay? So it's got to be done by Wednesday midnight. Okay? Then by Friday, you must go through everyone's posts that they've already made and then basically come up with a question related to one of the other posts that's been created that you've read. Okay, so and all you got to do is reply to that post with a question. There's no length requirement here. Just basically, it should be some question that is of some substance related to an issue within the paper or the concept that's identified in the paper, in the article, things like that. So all it is to get you to read discussions and kind of get involved with someone in a discussion of their input or their posts. Okay, so that is due by Friday. So again, initial post is due by Wednesday. This question or response post is due by Friday, also by midnight. And then by Sunday, you have to answer a question that was posed. Ideally, you would answer a question that was posed of your initial post, but there may not be one. So you just have to answer any question that was posed in that week's discussions. Okay, this one should be well thought out, should be somehow relevant to the chapter, and should be at least 200 words. Okay? So, in terms of timing, you don't necessarily have to wait until after the Wednesday deadline to create your question post. You can do that early if there are already initial posts that have been made. Okay, so don't feel like you have to wait till after Wednesday to start reading. You can do that early if you want. Okay. This assignment, this discussion board activity each week is worth 5 points. You get 2 for the initial post, 1 for the question, and 2 for the response or the answer post. Okay. Group project we'll talk about in a good bit detail here in a minute. Just want to let you know that you will have the opportunity to manually join a group. I'm not going to assign groups. Probably in the first or second week of the course, I will be opening the group area, and you just can go in and just basically register for a group. So if you know people that you would like to work with in the course, contact them ahead of time and say, hey, let's work together. Let's go in and put together our own group. Okay, so that'll be coming up shortly. I will let you know once that is ready to be done. Okay. All right, there's an attendance policy in the syllabus, but it doesn't really apply to an online course. Communication with me. I'm going to communicate with you via Canvas announcements, probably some videos, maybe some podcast episodes as well. You can also email me. I've already talked about my email address. Our departmental policy is to respond within 48 hours. Okay, so it's important that you don't email me at last minute. If something's due Friday night, don't email me at 10 o'clock on Friday night saying, hey, we can't find a group member, or hey, I need an extension, because I'm probably going to be asleep. Okay, so just plan ahead. I understand that extenuating circumstances occasionally arise, but just know that there's a good chance that there isn't going to be a response if you're asking me late at night, or expecting some response well before 48 hours. All right. So if you check out the schedule, you check out the syllabus, you'll see the schedule of what's due and when. Okay, and so basically, discussion boards are due Sunday, so that's that last component each week of the discussion board is due Sunday. The group papers that I mentioned earlier, the current events or current issues papers that I mentioned earlier, those will be due on Fridays by midnight. The exams in the course will also be due by midnight on those Fridays. Okay. The last week of the course, you've got the final presentation that I mentioned already due, as well as the peer evaluation of your group also due. And so that frees you up for finals week to just work on finals in other courses. So you get this one out of the way before you start studying for final exams in other courses. All right. A little bit more about the current issues papers. Okay, so the first paper is about technology. Okay, so I just want you to identify ways in which technology has changed consumer behavior. Okay, so you need to talk about 5 different ways, and basically provide evidence for those. And you can't just use your personal experience. You need to have some citations from other places. So one that you're going to talk about, I already know, is about mobile devices and obviously how they have changed the shopping experience in many ways. That's a great one. You should definitely talk about that one. But give me some evidence. Give me some numbers from some resource, from some blog about how many people shop online, or how many people go to Best Buy, for example, but then buy things on their phone. Okay, so 5 different things you've got to identify. Okay, the second current issues paper is on choices. Okay, so we have so many choices, and the question is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? So you need to come up with some arguments for this. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? There are 5 sections to this paper, and so what I'm looking for here is a kind of a rigid structure. You don't need this for current issues paper 1, the one on technology, but the one on choices is more like a debate paper. Okay, so I want basically a 1 paragraph introduction of the purpose of the paper. Then give me a section on yes. Yes, limitless choice is a good thing. Give me some examples, cite some things. Then create another section. No, limitless choice is not a good thing. Why? Give me some resources, some examples, some citations. You can use concepts from the book to help you support your side. Okay? And then once you have done that, once you have articulated arguments for and arguments against, create a 4th section, which is just your side. Which side are you choosing? Are you choosing side yes? Or are you choosing side no? It's totally up to you. Okay? So provide some support, some good argument, some evidence for your argument. Okay? And then finally, one last section should be a conclusion where you basically just ram home, or really finally sell me on your point. Why is your point correct and the other point incorrect? Something like that. Okay? Each of these papers should be at least 3 pages, double spaced, 12 point Times New Roman font. Must have a logical flow, be well organized, and technically correct. Not a lot of spelling and grammar, or actually no spelling or grammatical problems. The syllabus says that APA format is required. I'm actually going to change that as not required. Okay, no manager is going to require you to write an APA format, so therefore I shouldn't either. So just ignore that part. Okay, group project. The group project, basically, you're going to create a paper related to some real-world context. Okay, so and really, what you're going to do here is you're just going to follow these sections. You're gonna make up a product. Just make up something that's interesting. A lot of students in the past have done apps, maybe some sort of service. Service is a product as well, so you can do that as well. And what you'll do is you'll just create a presentation, not a paper, a presentation only, where you include the following components. Introduction. Describe the product. What is it? What problem does it solve? Section 2 is your target market. Who would buy this product? Who would use this product? Who would, extract value from this product? Okay. Demographics are good. Need recognition. This is straight from the book. There's the consumer decision process. So all these steps, a number of these steps come straight from that. So how does a potential target identify a need for a product in your particular product's category? Okay, so dog walker, for example. How does a target identify the need for a dog walker? Well, they work all day, they don't have time to walk the dog, or something related to that. They've got a big family and no yard and no time to do it. Those would be, points of need recognition. Okay? Information search is the next step, and basically, how do you go through the process of finding information about, in this example, dog walkers or solutions to the problem of getting a dog walked. The next section, evaluation of alternatives. How do you evaluate the different options available to you? So in our context, dog walkers, it could be price, it could be convenience, it could be reputation, it could be other types of attributes that you might use to evaluate the different dog walkers that you could go with. Purchase decisions. How do your target consumers acquire your product? If you're talking about a service, this is a little bit different, not as applicable, but where do consumers go to buy your product? Okay, things like that. And even with service, you can talk about something there. Okay, and then finally, post-purchase evaluation is what happens after the product is consumed. How does the consumer evaluate the decision he or she made? Do they engage in word of mouth? Things like that. Okay? So you should be applying course concepts to this. This is not just based on your experience or what you think things should be. You should talk a lot about relevant course concepts. Okay? So as the syllabus says, in sections 2 through 7, you need to include at least 5 textbook concepts. So we're just applying textbook concepts to this new fictitious product idea. Okay, so kind of linking this back to those intermediate group papers. We've got one group paper called Group Paper 1, due kind of early in the semester. Sections 1 and 2 from that framework I just went through are what you include in Group Paper 1. So it's just a brief introduction and discussion of the target market. Shouldn't be that long. At least 2 pages. That's really not that much. So at least get it 2 pages, okay? And just kind of get you going. And then Group Paper number 2 we've already talked about is going to cover sections 3 and 4. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give you feedback on Group Paper 1 and Group Paper 2 that you can then use to improve the content before you put everything together in your final presentation. And then, of course, you'll have 3 additional sections, sections 5 through 7, that were not involved in any group paper that you will have to add as well. Okay? And then what you'll do is you'll put together a final presentation, and then you will record the presentation using any particular technology you choose, upload it to YouTube, submit the URL into Canvas, and that is going to be the final presentation, the final assignment. Okay? Couple things to note here. For the group papers 1 and 2, when they're due, there's also what we call a progress report. So each student will individually submit a progress report, just rating their classmate or their teammates and how they did. You know, if someone disappeared or didn't pull their weight or just were really terrible to work with, I want to know about that, because that can really drag a group down, and it's not fair for good students and motivated students to have to wait or clean up the mess that students who aren't doing a good job or even an adequate job. So basically what I want to do is I want to kind of root those problems out. Okay, so each student will put together an individual progress report that they will submit the same day that the group paper that is corresponding is due. Basically, you're going to rate everyone in your group on a scale of 1 to 60, and if the average score of any person's rating by their group is less than 30, they will be kicked out of their group. And then what they'll have to do is they'll have to do the entire project on their own for a maximum grade of 70% of the original total. Okay, so it's pretty punitive. So it's punitive like this in order to try to motivate students to work hard and do well and do the right thing and don't let their group mates down. Okay, important to note that these progress reports are mandatory. So your group submits group paper 1, for example. If you don't submit the corresponding progress report, you get a 0 for that particular group paper. That's how important it is. So make sure you don't forget to do that. I will remind you, but make sure you don't forget to do that. Next page in the syllabus has a template to the progress report. Basically just copy it into a Word document, fill it out, and submit it. It's really not that big a deal. So you'll be rating people on 6 different attributes, and then you'll sum those numbers together, and that will be the rating that each individual in your group gets from you. Okay. All right. Presentation itself should be between 8 and 10 minutes long. If it's shorter than 8 or longer than 10, that's bad. So stay within that range. Okay. You can record the video via PowerPoint or Prezi, whatever you want, and then you can just create a video file and then upload that video file to YouTube. Okay, there is a link in the syllabus to a instructional video to show you how to record and upload the video in using a PC, Microsoft version. If there's any group that's using a Mac, it's a little bit different. We'll need to talk about that, but it's not complicated. It's just different. Okay. That's pretty much it for the presentation. Once the presentation is over, you will submit or create a final peer evaluation of your group, which will be uploaded into Canvas. And then what you'll do is just basically give me a final evaluation of those who are in your group. So normally these are all very good because anyone who wasn't a group member was kind of rooted out earlier using those individual progress reports. But you never know. Sometimes people disappear midway through the semester, and so maybe they got good progress report ratings, but now they don't deserve what everyone else deserves. So I will use these final peer evaluations to adjust people's grades. If someone got a poor rating, didn't do a good job within their group, I reserve the right to deduct points from their group project grades. Okay. Briefly, Canvas is there for you to, basically it administers the course. So make sure that you're always checking Canvas for new announcements. Any announcement is going to be emailed to your TWU account, so make sure you always check that. Canvas is where you'll go to submit all your assignments, to do all your discussion boards. I don't get really fancy with Canvas. There's an assignments tab. Every single assignment is listed in there chronologically, and then there's another section where the exams will be posted and administered. And that's really it. There's not much more to Canvas than that. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this presentation. So if you've got questions, just let me know. This presentation is being uploaded to YouTube as a video. I'm also going to publish it as a podcast as well, in case you're on the go and would rather listen instead of watching videos. So you can do it either way, and I will potentially add additional presentations, and I'll do them the same way. So if you've got questions, let me know. I look forward to interacting with you all and having a good semester. Thank you so much.